Good evening and welcome to the Thursday, October 9th, 2025 meeting of the Indian River County Planning and Zoning Commission. We'll call this meeting to order and begin with the Pledge of Allegiance, please. Pledge allegiance
To the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Thank you. Are there any additions or deletions to tonight's agenda?
No, sir.
Very good. Our first order of business is the approval of the minutes of the September 11th, 2025 meeting.
Motion to approve.
Second?
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? It's approved. We have two items on the agenda tonight. The first item will be Pinewood Gardens, and this is a request for a preliminary plat approval for a 51-lot conventional single-family subdivision. K. Hovenian Southeast Florida Division LLC is the applicant. Cotter and Hearing LLC is the agent. The zoning is RS6, residential single family up to 6 units per acre. Land use designation is M2, medium density, residential 2, up to 10 acres per acre. The proposed density is 2.55 units per acre. Is there any declaration of ex parte communications, and does everyone affirm their ability to evaluate this item with an open mind? Everyone on the right, good?
No, sir, and yes.
Okay, everyone on the left?
No and yes.
All right, very good. We'll swear in anyone who would like to speak on this agenda item now, please.
Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
I do.
Very good, we'll have staff presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. For the record, Ryan Sweeney, Acting Planning Development Service Director. I'll be presenting tonight on behalf of one of our newer staff members, Harper Lindemood, who inherited this project, so didn't want to foist the presentation on her. Tonight's request is for the Pinewood Garden Subdivision preliminary plat. The project site is located on the south side of 49th Street, approximately 1,350 feet east of 58th Avenue, and it's shown here with the red square. Project site is zoned RS6. From this point forward, all of the slides will be oriented with north to the right. Here is an aerial depicting the existing conditions of the site with the project overlay on top. Here's the preliminary plat showing the proposed project layout, including 51 conventional single-family lots. The project's traffic circulation plan includes a single gated driveway, full movement driveway connection to 49th Street, and an internal loop road. The project stormwater plan includes a single stormwater tract located at the central portion of the site. And the environmental/landscape plan includes the 25-foot type B buffer along 49th Street, which includes a 6-foot opaque feature, as well as littoral zone and lake shoreline tree plantings around the stormwater pond, and 2 upland set-aside tracts, one in the northeast corner and one in the southwest corner. Dedications, improvements, and other conditions for this project include the internal sidewalks in accordance with section 91309-5B2, street lighting within the project, as well as the common green space/recreation area requirements. And with that, staff's recommendation is that the Planning and Zoning Commission grant preliminary plat approval for the Pinewood Garden subdivision with conditions listed in the staff report, including final tree protection and mitigation plans, payment for the approved fee in lieu of tree mitigation if applicable, final landscape and buffer plan, final street lighting design installation, dedication of the conservation easement over the 2 upland set-aside tracts, and the internal sidewalks and design and installation. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Thank you, Ryan. Are there any commissioner questions of staff on my right? Doesn't look like any. Any questions on the left? Chip, go ahead, and then Robert, you go ahead.
Clarification on the lot size minimums that are allowed in the current zoning?
Yeah, Mr. Chair, Chip, in the RS6, it is 70-foot wide lots, and that's their minimum lot width, and 7,000 square feet.
It's the minimum.
That's the minimum. And this is a conventional subdivision. Not seeking any waivers or reductions or setback waivers or anything like that.
That's fine. Can you tell me what the setbacks are on that? side
Sure,
setbacks?
yes, it's gonna be 20-foot front and rear, 10-foot sides. So there'll be 20 feet in between each home, at minimum.
We all good, commissioners? Good, I'll go ahead and open the floor for any public comment on this agenda item. If anyone would like to speak, either one of the podiums and your name and address. Seeing none, I'll close the floor, and any additional commissioner questions, statements, discussion? Nope. Call for a motion.
Move to approve?
I'll second.
All in favor? Aye. Any opposed? Good enough, it passes.
Oh, I was gonna say, where are you going?
Now, after losing about half of our audience, our second agenda item is Ditch 5 Sand Mine Expansion. And this is a request for a major site plan and administrative permit use approval for the Ditch 5 Sand Mine Expansion. Babcock Coquina Mine LLC is the owner, Mills and Short and Associates LLC are the agents. It's located west of 90th Avenue Southwest, south of Oslo Road, and east of 94th Avenue Southwest. The zoning is agricultural 2, up to 1 unit per 10 acres. The land use designation is Ag 2, Agricultural 2, up to 1 unit per 10 acres. Any declaration of ex parte communications, and is everyone able to affirm their ability to evaluate this item with an open mind? On my left?
Good.
Good, on my right? Good, everybody's good on that. So, anyone who would like to speak on this, please, stand and be sworn in.
Do you swear or affirm to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth?
And we'll go with staff presentation.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Brandon Cragen, Chief of Current Development, will present this item.
All right, good evening, Chair and members of the board. Before you today is the Ditch 5 Sand Mine, major site plan and administrative permit use. So just to kind of go over the mining approval process, so we're right now at the site plan and administrative approval permit stage. If the PZC approves tonight with the conditions listed in the staff report, they would need to then obtain all jurisdictional permits, meet all conditions of site plan release if there are any, and then provide all of the required bonds for the project. Once they do all that and they start operation, there's an annual mining permit review and issuance that has to happen annually. The project is located east of 94th Avenue Southwest, south of 9th Street Southwest. It's fairly close to the Oslo, what will be the new Oslo interchange to 95. It also has zoning of A2, Agricultural 2. Just to give you an idea of the current site, so it actually is an existing mine. It's been in existence since 1995, so everything that you see that's water in the picture, that kind of aqua color, that's the current mine right now. And then everything to the east and the south is the new proposed cells. So just to dig a little bit deeper, so north is now going to be to the left portion of the screen. So they're going to have 6 different cells. It's going to be a 2-phased project. Phases 1 is going to be cells 1 through 3. Phase 2 is cells 4 through 6. And then the existing mine right now is in red. And then I should probably go over, so both the current mine and the proposed excavation area, it's going to be a total of 231.49 total acres. The new excavation area is 153.9 acres, and then the existing site is approximately 77.59 acres. Between the 2 phases, they're going to take approximately 12.37 million cubic yards. It's a little over 6 million cubic yards per phase. They're going to have a new lifespan for this new area of about 20 years. Again, previous approval was in 1995, and the mine is currently active. The haul route is going to use the existing route to the existing mine. They're just going to have some stub outs within the project areas for driveways that will go into the new cells. They're going to do all of their trips east and westbound on Oslo Road or 9th Street Southwest. And then it's going to be dispersed in the county to various sites that need fill, typically for residential projects and commercial projects and stuff like that. This is subject to special land use criteria contained in 971.22 subsection 1 of our county land development regulations. The special land use criteria revolve around the site having to meet all of our applicable site plan requirements. Reclamation and water quality management plan is going to be needed and approved. They have to have no mechanical dewatering within 1,000 feet of a platted subdivision. There is no platted subdivisions within 1,000 feet of this area, so that is not a concern. They must have a future land use of AG1, AG2, or AG3. This currently has an AG2, so it meets that. And then we were also required to notice property owners by mail, which was a quarter-mile notice radius. Staff recommends that the PZC grant major site plan and administrative permit use approval with the conditions listed in the staff report. These conditions are related to the reclamation littoral zone and final landscape plans, the submitting of all the required bond and payment of impact fees, any maintenance agreements for the haul routes, their operational conditions, and then the obtaining of a wetland conservation easement. I'm available for any questions you may have. Thank you.
Thank you, Brandon. Any commissioner questions for staff on the left? Okay, I see. Chip, go ahead, and we'll come to Mark.
Okay. Just a couple of questions. Regarding item number 4, where it talks about no mechanical dewatering of any subdivisions nearby. What about regarding ranchettes?
Those are serviced by public water, so it would, or I'm sorry, not serviced by public water. Those would not apply to like an AOE or a 5-acre. Regardless, there's no dewatering. This is wet dredging, so it's really doesn't really apply at all. There's no dewatering whatsoever.
So there's no concern for the ranchettes that may
Correct.
be nearby, not in this particular case,
Right.
but otherwise, that they can still get water and,
Correct.
okay. And then, it mentions the 20-year rule, but we're past that for the original. How does that?
So there during the, sorry, Mr. Chair, Chip, during the economic downturn, there was sort of a pause in the 08 to 2011, 2012.
I try not to remember that time.
So there was a pause on the time clock, but so yes, from the date of the original approval to now is actually 30 years. Those lifespans didn't actually get implemented until more recently. So that 20-year time clock would start with the new. And there is the ability to actually extend if needed, barring another downturn.
Okay.
In other words, because there's an annual mining permit item, and in theory, they could pause and pause that time clock.
They could go to 10 and stop
And then
wait.
pick, correct.
Okay.
Good, Chip?
Sir.
Okay, Mark?
Have there been any complaints or inspection violations on the existing mine?
On this particular one, no. Typically, the main complaint is the haul route. However, with Oslo Road basically being no man's land west of 95, and it is paved a few hundred feet west of 95, so there's not been any for this particular mine. Not to single out, I won't single out because there's several mines on 82nd. That's a different topic.
I didn't understand why the maps aren't flipped so that north is either top or right.
It's just the way it was
It's
presented.
confusing. So the Hall Road is, well, it's not to 95, isn't it? Isn't it down Oslo
Right,
Road?
right. There's an overpass over 95.
And they'll be using the same kind of trucks? Are they?
Correct.
20
Dump trucks.
dumps?
Good?
Yes.
Any on the right? Any questions on the right?
Yeah, the side roads, what is it, 95th and 90th, or
94th and 90th.
94th and 90th? Are those dirt or paved?
Those are dirt,
They're dirt?
yes.
Maintenance on those roads? Anything?
Is the responsibility of
Is
the.
the
of
mine's
correct.
responsibility? Okay. And then for the traffic patterns on Oslo, so how is the new interchange and all that going to affect, with all this and the trucks? And
So there's still the overpass. So that.
But the concern would be when it's finished
Yes.
and there's still, I don't know if this pit is for 95 or otherwise, but once 95 is finished, then you've got paved roads and then the concern of the trucks.
Well, hopefully that will actually be better because there'll be less dirt and more pavement. but the construction for Oslo will be, I mean, it's gonna be FDOT design.
So they're widening all the way down through there already with that
Correct.
project? is what you're saying? Okay, that's- yeah.
And the construction of the interchange isn't going to be affected or affect this?
No.
Good. Anything else?
No, sir. My only question, Ryan answered it, the map answers it, was verifying that it was west of the 95 interchange, so, yeah. I'm good.
I've got a couple questions. On the first page of your report, you referenced the restoration plan. When was that written, and does it need to be reviewed and updated?
The requirement for a restoration plan?
It says, and it says, the exact date has not yet been provided as to when they will cease mining any
right.
material and restore the mine per the project restoration plan.
Right, that doesn't get implemented until the end, once they cease
When
mining.
was it written?
So for the current mine, it would have, they probably don't have a restoration plan because that was approved under previous set of LDRs. But for the new phases, that's a current plan, but it won't be implemented until the end.
But it was written recently.
Right, it's primarily littoral zone plantings,
Primarily what?
littoral zone plantings to stabilize the
Yeah.
banks.
Yeah. Did I read it correctly that abandoned citrus grove furrows are jurisdictional wetlands?
So that does happen over time, unfortunately. The furrows do take on the characteristics of being like a wetland, and unfortunately, unfortunately, the way DEP works is,
It's now wetlands.
Yeah, but the only thing they do is produce mosquitoes, so I'm assuming that when the restoration plan's implemented, that a more environmentally friendly wetland will exist there?
right, so most of it's gonna be pond. I mean, essentially, all of the site's gonna be water.
Yeah. Yeah, and my other question is, what's the depth of these mines?
Oh, of course you had to ask that, which I don't have off the top of my head. I will gladly defer to the applicant, who is here tonight, because I can get you that number, but I don't have it in front of me.
Okay, well, so when this is all done and over and done, there'll be 8 ponds there?
They'll all be, eventually those cells interconnect, so it's all a
So
single,
one big pond,
right, with some dikes in between, but yes, it's
with
very,
somewhat?
like a dike in between the 3 phases.
Okay, yeah,
Those dikes are like roadway width.
Right,
Yeah.
correct.
yeah. And so those will be steep-sided ponds?
No, the slope does, it kind of slopes down and then drops off, if that makes sense.
Okay. Good, so I'll open the floor for any public comment, anyone that would like to comment. Choose your podium, name and address.
Good evening, Wesley Mills, Mills Short and Associates. I'm the engineer of record for the project. Just to provide some more clarification on the pond depths. So the pond depth of the new portion of the mine will match the existing portion, which is 90 feet or thereabouts. As far as the pond slope goes, it meets all the same St. John's and county requirements as any subdivision or anything like that. We have all of our development permits in hand, so we've went through the county's stormwater review, we've went through St. John's Water Management District, we've been through Indian River Farms, and we've also paid the reservation credit for the wetland that's being impacted.
And so are you pulling pretty much pure sand out of these, or is it sand and rock, or is it shell?
I believe it's mostly sand. Yeah. mostly
Yeah, and
sand.
so it's sifted and then delivered to sites?
Yes, I think a lot of the sand actually goes to some of the beach renourishment projects for the county.
Yeah.
So that's why we're anxious to get this up and going, because we know you guys have some projects coming up.
Yep.
Well, that raises a question then, I mean, because previously, I know they've tried to do that for the beach renourishment, but it wasn't pure enough. And questions about the trucks all going through there, so is this something they're gonna reattempt?
I'm not sure, reattempt,
Well,
I'm not
using
sure.
the sand for the beaches instead of pulling it out, out of the ocean.
Yes, that's my understanding.
It depends on the quality, but certain mines have much better quality.
And the haul trucks are able to traverse onto the beach?
Typically, there's a transfer, because a lot of the trucks that are on the beach are different. They're not a conventional just dump truck that's meant for roadway travel. Those are more of the haul trucks with the big tires, so there'll be a transfer if for beach projects specifically.
Okay, and where will the sand be stockpiled on the site?
We have two locations, so the main entrance where you come into the site, which is existing, there's an existing scale and office location as you come into the main entrance. You can see it where the red arrow is almost in the middle of the site there. There'll be stockpile material on both the north and south side of that main road.
So the name of the company is Badcock Coquina Mine. Are you mining coquina rock too, or?
I think that's just like a legacy corporation.
Okay.
It's just the purely property owner.
So the county, I know the county has contracts for Anastasia shell that they use for bedding. The sifted Anastasia shell, the black and the white shell, that's not this sort of mine, right?
I'm not familiar with that, but I don't believe so.
Okay. Any other questions?
And Ditch 5 sounds like Fellsmere. I wonder where that name came from.
I think Mr. Jenkins, that was your name, right? Yeah, Ditch 5.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, good, good. So I'll close the floor for public comment unless anyone else would like to speak. I guess not. Any additional commissioner questions, statements, discussion? On the right? No. On the left? No. Call for a motion.
Motion to approve.
All in favor? Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? It is, passes unanimously. Commissioner matters, you said you had a issue?
Infrastructure questions. So, sure. Seen enough of these projects to know that roads and water and electric and all that stuff is definitely considered, schools and, stuff. But what about drainage? I'm seeing an issue in this county.
Right now.
So, thank you, Mr. Chair. Mr. Campbell, when you say drainage, there's probably means a number of different things, but primarily on-site drainage within like a subdivision or a commercial site, multifamily, what have you. They have to not only retain, everything that's on their site with depending on what scenario is, they can ultimately outfall into a canal, but it's usually what's called pre versus post, meaning in the pre-existing condition, they can only outfall that much or less. The other thing they also have to account for is surrounding properties. If historically properties flow through, they have to account for that as well. The other drainage is off-site for roadways, intersections, and that's where a lot of times you'll hear us, particularly plan developments, which I don't want to get into a conversation about plan developments because we'll be talking about that next meeting. They will actually bring in stormwater. Typically, when you have a county road or a state road, but mostly county or local, they put their drainage in roadside swales, but those aren't typically sufficient. So when we have a development project that's going to do a roadway improvement, they'll actually send that stormwater into the project site. And that's definitely, considered to be a public benefit. Because otherwise, the county has to acquire tracts to build these little stormwater ponds. But that being said, a lot of subdivisions like Pinewood Gardens, the first project we saw, it's on the south side of a canal, so there's no way they can help with the roadway drainage, so to speak.
Yeah, I mean, I'm seeing issues come up, especially like Fellsmere, obviously.
Sure.
And then VLE, things like that. Even I'll talk about the other one later after. But the more building projects that we have, this is going to get worse. So how are we going to look at this? Because what's the convention for every acre of roof, you basically lose 6 inches of absorption or something like that.
Give or take.
you know. So, how are we gonna look at this? There's that sheet that you send out, there's a lot of potential building coming pretty fast. So how are we addressing drainage if
Sure.
it's already an issue?
Well, I think the answer is twofold. The short answer, unfortunately, for places like BLE, Fellsmere, that are platted subdivisions that didn't really account for proper drainage, especially now, you're gonna have to see retrofit projects. You're gonna see the county or other entities actually buying lots and putting stormwater ponds to account for that. But for new development projects, again, they're gonna take care of their own drainage requirements in addition to whatever historically has flowed into them. But in some instances, they also will account for, additional drainage to the extent that they can. But it's not a simple issue.
Yep, right. And so, that's part of what I'm getting at is when these developments come, is it gonna be on the developer a lot of times to fix existing problems because they now want to?
It definitely is when I said, like, again, for their site, absolutely, and even historically, if it's known that the site to to either side of them has historically flowed into them, they have to account for that. To fix the county side or the public-facing side, it depends on the scope of the project.
The second piece to it that I'm seeing is flood zones have changed, and so elevations have changed, and I've seen properties in Roseland, and now we've got some property on US 1 and 77th where they're doing your existing properties were at one place and elevations were set, and now we've got new elevations that are 4 foot higher, and the new properties are basically flooding the older properties.
Right.
And I don't see anything addressing those either. So is there some thought to that, or?
It's yes, and it's well beyond my capability as a non-engineer to try to explain, but the
Not
model.
beyond mine, sir, I could address it, but go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, we're a direct writer of FEMA. I mean, I understand it, but go ahead.
I was just gonna say that the modeling and all, again, there's a whole, that's why, one of the reasons for why some of these projects take a little while to work through the system is the engineering of that goes into it. But yeah, the drainage reports are, volumes thick sometimes, so.
You have an engineer here who can probably explain it, but, I mean, when they do that, because I used to get those phone calls, having worked for the builders, why you drain, they make you put a belly in, which may or may not suffice, but that's about all you can do. And then homeowners don't want to put any more dirt than they have to, because it's just costing them money. Dirt's not cheap anymore. But I am glad to hear the county is looking at, like, VLE and some other areas. They need to be buying a bunch of lots, put a pond in, but that leads to my next question. Is there a requirement, I guess, but that I've noticed that when the county does their own ponds, they're all fenced off, correct?
Yes.
So why is it a problem for a private party to not have to do that?
This came up last year with that drowning, and
Right.
he's got a great point.
And we had something approved, and then it didn't fly through the county commission.
So that's because we cannot necessarily require them to do anything more than what's already in our LDRs. And that would require an LDR amendment for us to be able to put that kind of condition on that particular development, from my recollection of that particular development. With that being said, just be mindful that putting something like requesting for there to now be a fence around all ponds would probably be deemed to be more restrictive. And we have SB 180 right now that has been kind of knocking everything and anything that's more restrictive. So we could look at something like that in the future, but right now, and let's just hope, knock on wood, we don't get any more hurricanes this year, that we could get that done. So if that is a prerogative of the P&Z and the BCC.
And I imagine it'd be punitive to require that on one property and not on everyone else, just all of a sudden. say,
A minor expense, though, to
Yeah.
incur for a developer.
But in
We'd
the
have to-
future,
have to be a whole-
an LDR for all, because the one lawsuit, or, we have any attorneys here? Oh, we have an attorney. The one lawsuit will take care of that minor expense.
Right, you're right.
And it's gonna happen, so, again.
Ryan, I have one question that really is not your forte, but maybe you could tell me who I could go to.
Sure.
Being per se in agriculture with Farm Bureau, and ag always being blamed about pollution in the intercoastal, runoff. Every single day driving to work, I look at these lawn maintenance companies. They all blow everything into the street. And I even got with Judge Morgan on this. How is this allowable? Because you're talking about fertilizer, you're talking about, and it's just acceptable to blow everything into the street. And then it goes down the storm drains, goes out into the river. It's not ag. Are there not regulations? And I know, again, planning and zoning, I know it's not your deal, but what county regulation authority would police that?
We would need a police powers.
No, it's terrible. Anywhere you go, with the exception of maybe Johns Island, none of their debris is raked up and hauled off. It's just blown in the street to be run over and go down the drains.
I believe that would be natural resources with stormwater. Hopefully Kylie doesn't kill me for putting her name out there like that.
No, that's fine.
So I think that's
It's just
who
something I think about all the time.
That's who would deal with that.
And all you gotta do is go out in a boat and look at our brown river.
I can put you in contact with some folks.
Yes.
And to your question about drainage, be on the lookout for stormwater fees and taxes additionally, put on impervious land for, I think that's probably something that a lot of municipalities might look at.
Well, I mean, honestly, that's something that should be addressed too, because you hear all the time, nobody in the county wants to be the next Miami or Orlando or anything. That's not how any voter I've ever met in Indian River County wants to see this county developed. The development's gonna happen. But people need to have the message that quality of life has a cost to it. So, it has to be understood.
Well, a couple of things, in terms of blowing the grass. I've noticed in the city, they blow it, it gets out in the street, and then somehow they blow it back. I don't know why or how that works.
Or they're just relying on cars to run over it and ultimately it goes down the drains.
Yeah, well, I don't-
But
I
my
haven't
point
observed
is,
that
it's,
in the city, whether they've got some enforcement or whether they beat up on the land.
no, but even the city employees do it. He's right about that.
Oh, okay. And then on the subject of drainage, do we have the county have any plans for either maintaining or improving the dirt roads? I know they've got graders and things like that, but is that satisfactory at this time?
So, paving unpaved roads is there is a schedule, so to speak, but it's a very costly schedule. I think maintaining existing and repaving is priority over paving new unpaved. However, again, as you guys probably do see from time to time, different development projects, when they develop, they're on the hook for paving or extending unpaved roads. So,
Sure.
but an outright, just finding a county dirt road that they're going to pave, it's really not,
Talking
right?
about VLE and places like that.
It's, like I said, it would take years and years to.
You'd have to have a paving assessment.
I know,
That's hard to get that by.
we used to do that,
Sure.
right?
The city's a little different than VLE when they pay $2,000 for their lots and they have to pay
Right.
$2,000
Yeah, but
assessment.
now they're worth 50.
Nope.
Oh,
Nope.
They were.
That's why it's a good time to be buying those lots for the county. No, they're down under 30 now, so.
Yeah, you're right, it was 2 and 5, and then it went way up.
60
You can
and
buy a double lot for 2,500. Back in the early 80s.
Didn't have $2,500.
Well, that's why they fought county water.
I don't have 2,500 now, so.
I remember Terry Pendo spent $500,000 on a plan to put water in there.
As much as I'm enjoying
they
this
said they didn't.
conversation,
There you go, Dr. Day.
geez, I'm pro.
Get it, bud.
Planning matters.
Yeah,
Any
yeah, so
planning
just,
matters?
again, it's, I did put it on here, and at this point, it's not really a save the date, but more of mark your calendars, and you're invited. 2 weeks from tonight, it's the joint Board of County Commissioners Planning and Zoning Commission meeting. It is devoted solely to the PD process, so there will not be any other P and Z items. So be ready.
That'll be fun. Now, I'm assuming they're gonna sit down there, right?
No, We've already.
No, the nights are ours.
We've already
Reps lap.
figured that part out, so you guys will have assigned
I'll
seating.
be damned.
When you say we're invited.
You get a good
do you have
deal.
an option?
Well, I mean,
May
technically,
I ask, I mean, because I missed the meeting that suggested this to happen, I guess. What is gonna be, what's the format? What are we doing?
right, so there will be a staff report and there will be a presentation with talking points, but ultimately, the way I envision it is, the staff is seeking out direction, joint direction from both the board and the Planning and Zoning Commission on how to address certain key items that have arisen with the plan development process.
And Ryan, if I could chip, I don't know if you were here, but we turned down a development that was basically zero lot line. And the commissioners were questioning why we did it when they just had a meeting that said they didn't want that. So the subject came up, look, we have no direction. What is it they're looking for? Because if we're supposed to just rubber stamp everything that comes across, so it was intended as a workshop to kind of let's hash it out. Where are we going with this?
And probably to determine what's a real public benefit.
That will be priority, or your topic number one will be public benefit. There's also some other items that we'll need to discuss and seek input on, because it's not solely just public benefit and waivers, there's some other items.
Will we get an agenda and the talking points ahead of time?
Correct, yes, so just like you normally would, it's gonna be, no, it'll be the
About
Friday
6
before the
hours.
meeting. So,
As the acting director, can't you just slide that off onto somebody else for that and the development report and everything else?
no, I gotta do it myself.
Are we gonna get, you said we'll get talking points and some kind of backup, but links to things so we can prepare ourselves?
Again, it's gonna be
And the
just.
commission can
Right,
do
right.
the same?
It'll be just like your normal, you'll get a packet with an agenda and a staff report and attachments. I will say it will be slightly different because it'll be an official BCC agenda, which we actually process through a software called Granicus. So if you've ever looked at the board agenda, it's got a certain format to it, and then you click on the actual link. So the way I envision that is Tina will be sending out the board agenda kind of like it normally goes out, and then I intend to just forward that same agenda and materials to all the planning and zoning committee. It is a little bit out of the norm, so, but yeah, it'll get forwarded to you all.
And I was gonna ask you about that email list, which is like that long. I mean, there's a lot of, where did that whole list come from? There's been a lot of people added onto that list.
And there are people in there that are dead, I think.
Are you talking about the
no
agenda
longer-
only?
I wasn't gonna say that.
No longer involved.
The agenda only list?
Yeah, that's, other people that have been interested in receiving items, they can ask to be included in that list too.
Sure.
Understood.
Anyone can, yeah.
So that changes from meeting to meeting?
Not,
Probably not meeting to meeting, but we do update it. Probably, yes, there are probably some folks that no longer need it, but
Yes.
unless we receive
For
notice.
one reason or
Okay,
another.
Good, anything else?
That's it?
Good, attorney matters? Thank the Lord. We're adjourned.